Joining us now, we got some cool things to talk about. Is Elaine Parker? She is the communications vice president for the Job Creators Network and president of the Job Creators Network Foundation. Elaine, welcome. We got some good news right off the bat here. Elaine?
Good morning, John. Happy Friday. Couldn't get better news than this, right?
Well, let's start with the job numbers just out moments ago. The U.S. economy created another 263,000 jobs in April. By the way, 1,500 of those are right here at Colonial Downs and Rosie's Gaming Emporium in New Kent, Virginia. The numbers are in. Employers added 263,000 jobs, this according to the Department of Labor, and economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal. Oh, the bunch of naysayers. They only expected 175. Yep, wrong again. Economists, wrong again. So the economy booming along, another 263,000 jobs, a full 35% over the naysayer Keynesian predictions. They keep saying how the economy is going to slow down. We're going to go into a recession, and the Trump economy keeps defying them. February hiring revised higher. This is the final thing I'm going to say. So we get this data for April. Then they come out and say, oh, by the way, there was 20,000 more jobs created in February than we thought. Elaine, the news just keeps getting better.
It's fantastic, and it is the direct result of pro-growth jobs. 263,000 jobs created. It crushed expectations, and the unemployment rate has fallen again. And we continue to see wages grow faster than they have in a decade. And it amazes me to watch Joe Biden at his rally tell people that no one is feeling this economy. I mean, that's just, it is ridiculous. They couldn't win on the narrative of the economy isn't doing well because the numbers tell the story. Now the new narrative that they've migrated to is that no one is feeling it. Well, the reality is everyone is feeling it. We have a 50-year unemployment low. We have more jobs available than people to fill them, and our unemployment rate continues to fall. Our GDP for first quarter was 3.2%. I mean, those are amazing numbers, and there's no way that you can say that people aren't feeling this economy. It's just incredible.
I mean, and it just trucks along, and part of it, Elaine, I'm telling you, the tax cut has had such a dramatic impact, all facets of it. We talk about this every week. It is the driver for small business. They're able to save money, reinvest it, take 100% write-off on new machinery, new equipment like we have for our radio studios, and this creates jobs, and this keeps it going when people get jobs. Wages up again, wages growing another 3.2%, and in fact Biden's saying that they're not growing. I mean, that's like just making up your own facts. He says wages are flat. Well, no, they've been up 3.5% for 18 months. What is he talking about, Elaine?
It's amazing. I guess it's if they say it enough times, they think it'll be true. I'm just not sure. I mean, to claim that no one is feeling this is crazy. The reality is, maybe he wants everyone to feel it like we felt it under the previous administration when we had stagnant wage growth, and we had more people out there not working than there were jobs available. Because our labor participation rate was so low. It's all the opposite, and it's the direct reason is because of the pro-growth policies like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, like the deregulation and cutting of red tape that has helped small business reinvest in their businesses, and just putting more money back in the pockets of ordinary Americans. And they're going out and they're feeling good and they're spending their money. We issued our weekly pulse survey of 1,000 Americans yesterday, and 35% of adults now believe that the economy is getting better, and just 23% say it's getting worse. That 12-point margin reflects the most positive net rating since November of last year. It continues to get more positive. People are feeling good. They're spending money, and they feel good about their jobs, and they know that they feel like they could get another job if they decided to change jobs.
See, that's another thing, too, is people are not locked in to the jobs they have, because before, when Obama and Biden was there, we had 1% growth and 9% unemployment. People were scared to death if they had a job. They didn't want a chance leaving it because they weren't sure the next job would materialize or be there or wouldn't go away. So people stayed in jobs. Wages were down. Now wages are up because people are transitioning from job to job, getting better offers. And so that's what you want, Elaine, in a vibrant economy. And that's why this has been so exciting. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks Radio app. We're live today at Colonial Downs in the New Kent, Virginia, and Rosie's Gaming Emporium. Live racing August 8th. I'll have a suite there August 10th. You want to come with Ann and I to our suite, text us 757-692-1710. First come, first serve. And right here, Colonial Downs has created 1,500 jobs in Virginia in April right off the bat. So that adding to the as part of the 263,000 jobs. We're with Elaine Parker. She is the Chief Communications Officer for the Job Creators Network. Go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com, and also the president of the Job Creators Foundation. So, Elaine, I want to get to some of the crazy pot things going out there. And let's start with Bernie Sanders and his Medicaid for All plan. Now we understand that two organizations have put a price tag on it, both of them Democrat organizations, and it's at about $3.5 trillion annually added cost to the budget. If this were to go through, and basically it will be a hostile takeover of the entire U.S. healthcare system by the government, Bernie says he's going to fund it by taxing the middle class. Economists saying that, well, if he does that, that would put the economy in a tailspin. Is this guy living in an alternative universe, Elaine, or what?
It's incredible that someone like Bernie Sanders is interested in implementing something that would absolutely kill our economy, and also take away our choices. The reality is $3.8 trillion or 3.5 or 4 trillion, whatever it is annually, it's going to double our federal budget and just absolutely decimate this economy. The reality is what we need to solve our healthcare problem, because there is a healthcare problem. Obamacare has really hurt our healthcare system and caused premiums to go sky high and hurt small business. More than a third of small businesses had to drop offering health insurance to their employees because of the skyrocketing costs of Obamacare. The reality is what we need to do is inject more competition and price transparency into the system so that people understand what they're paying for and they have more choices. You look at industries like, think back to when LASIK eye surgery first came out. It was FDA approved in the year 2000. Today, it's 50% less, and that's because you can literally call around and ask how much it is. You can find the best quality and the best price, and that's how you bring prices down. That's how free markets work. Even orthodontics. I have two teenagers, and they've both been through braces. It's exactly what I did. It's transparency in pricing, and it's competition. And when businesses have to compete for your dollars, the prices come down.
Well, the fact that this plan by Sanders, this Medicare for All, has gotten so little scrutiny in the legacy fake news media, because it sounds great, right? You just get care, you don't have to pay anything. But now we've got organizations coming out saying it's going to be nearly $4 trillion, which is doubling. As you say, we have a $4 trillion budget now. It doubles the budget. So the deficit, whatever it is, it's add another $4 trillion on it, and he's going to fund it by destroying the economy and going to some kind of a socialist state. And isn't it fascinating to you, Elaine, that this debate is happening in the midst of one of the most phenomenal economic resurgence ever seen since the Second World War? Like you would think this debate on socialism might be happening if we were in a deep recession and there was 15% unemployment. But it's the exact opposite.
Absolutely. The changes we've seen over the last 2 years, we have record low unemployment rates, we have the quickest wage growth in a decade, and strong job creation. And people like Bernie Sanders, point to Nordic countries like Denmark and Switzerland as a success, and they call them socialistic countries, when in fact the Prime Minister of Denmark actually came out a few years ago when Bernie Sanders ran for president the first time and said, we are absolutely not a socialistic country. We are a free market economy. They do have very social safety net programs in place, but they have very high tax rates. I mean, more than double our tax rates. So, the reality is those are not socialistic countries. They're free market countries. We can look right at Venezuela, at a country that voted in socialism, as a clear example of what will happen if you're going to vote in socialism into your country. You lose your freedoms. You lose your money. You lose the innovation that comes with a free market economy. And that's what the American people need to look at, is a real example of socialism. It's happening right before their eyes every day on television.
We're with Elaine Parker. She is the Chief Communications Director of the Job Creators Network. More information, you can go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com. Elaine, I'm going to play a clip here on the Trump's approval rating on the economy. It's the highest number we've seen in the CNN poll, and I want to get your reaction to this, if I may. Kara, let's roll cut 5 for Elaine.
Here, pardon the pun, is the Trump card for the president. 56% of Americans approve how he's handling the economy. This is the highest number we've ever seen in CNN polling. Look at this. That 56%, if you stack it up historically, it's the high watermark in the entirety of the Trump presidency in CNN polling. We've not seen him have that big of an approval rating on the economy. As you know, James Carville made famous, right? It's the economy, stupid. We know that sensibility about the economy heading into an election matters a ton.
I am aware of is how much the Democrats.
Elaine, what do you think of that?
I mean, I'm not surprised. People are feeling this economy, and to try to put that narrative out there is going to fail. I mean, you just can't keep seeing these numbers every month. GDP, unemployment. I mean, unemployment is at a 50-year low, but for demographics across the board, from Hispanics, blacks, Asians, I mean, they're all at record low. Women are doing great in this economy. And because we were under the previous administration, for 8-10 years, we had none of this. And to see this economy skyrocketing and roaring like this, and then the news just gets better and better, to try and put this narrative out there that it's not doing well and people aren't feeling it is ridiculous. And a 56% rating on the economy, that says it all.
Elaine, doesn't it almost seem surreal that it was only, 5 years ago, that President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden were saying that 1% growth and high unemployment was the new normal, that we couldn't do anything about it in the new type of economy that we have?
It does seem amazing to me. I didn't believe it back then because I didn't agree with their policies, and I knew that if we lowered taxes and we decreased red tape, we could help small business. I mean, we represent the 30 million small businesses out there, and we went out on the road in 2016 and we covered some 25 states and met with small business owners across the country. And what they told us is that high taxes and regulations and a lack of access to capital were actually killing the viability of their business. And they specifically pointed to issues like Obamacare and the lack of affordability because of double-digit annual increases on their health insurance. And one of the solutions that the Trump administration's put forward is something called association health plans to really try to help small businesses. It was meant to be a game changer for small businesses because it was going to allow them to band together, buy insurance across state lines, and spread the risks by their industry and bring down the costs, which would have given greater access and greater choices. And guess what? 12 Democratic state AGs filed suit saying that this was illegal because it violated Obamacare, and a court blocked it. So right now, a very good solution that would help small business and help Americans get good insurance is sitting in the courts blocked.
So why would anybody be opposed to increasing competition to lower costs? I mean, we do that with car insurance now. I mean, I'm 61 years old. I grew up in New Jersey. I remember when I first got my driver's license at, I think, 17 after my permit was over. So that was, 58 plus 17, 1975. And you had to get car insurance. And I got a car, an old car. And but you had to buy it in New Jersey. Like, you couldn't do Geico now and just go online or anything like that. You had to go to an agent. They had to be in New Jersey. And so there were four of them, and you paid whatever you had to pay, or you couldn't drive. Now you can go and buy it anywhere. What would be the objection to being able to buy insurance across state lines?
It is, to me, it is the epitome of the political class telling us that they know better. That they know better. And the reality is they are not the ones on the front lines. They are not the ones signing in front of paychecks for their employees. And they don't understand what these small business owners are doing and sacrificing to grow their businesses and invest in their employees and their communities, for that matter. And to take those choices away simply takes the ability away for these small business owners to provide a much-needed benefit to their employees. They want to provide health insurance for their employees. They just can't afford to.
Boy, you are so right, Elaine Parker, right there. So many of these people making decisions have never owned a small business, never ran it, never signed the front of a paycheck, never had to meet payroll, never had to provide their employees with insurance. They get paid by the government, and the government pays all their staff members, and they all get insurance in Congress or state government or wherever these people are. And they've never been on the other side of it. They don't understand it, yet they're making policy decisions that are affecting us all. Thank God we've got President Trump in there who really understands this whole thing, and that's been driving it. These numbers stunning again. Elaine, let me get you to comment on one other number. Wages up another 3.2%. This is another thing that the Keynesian fake news, legacy media liars have been telling us, that wages were going to go back down. They're going to be stagnant. Now they're up another 3%. Why is that, Elaine?
The reality is there are more jobs out there than people available to fill them. And so because there is basically a competition for labor, you're seeing wages get pushed up by our free market system. Employers are having to offer more money to entice people and get them to come work for them. That's exactly the kind of system we want. We want wages to go up like that and people to be able to change jobs. I mean, that is how our free market system works. We haven't seen wages move up this fast in a decade that people haven't seen this. And we saw people get more money back in their paychecks all year last year because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, by the changing of the withholding tables. And then the same thing happened. A new narrative was created. Well, if you don't get a bigger tax refund on April 15th, and that means the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was a failure. Well, guess what? It wasn't a failure. People paid less taxes. So that's why we saw why we saw refunds in smaller amounts, because they simply didn't pay as much in withholdings. They kept more of their own hard-earned money. That's exactly how all of it was supposed to work. It was successful. It was very successful. And these kinds of jobs numbers and GDP numbers and wage growth is exactly the kind of results we want to see.
Go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com, jobcreatorsnetwork.com. Elaine, when are we going to see the next Times Square AOC Job Creators Network billboard?
I can't tell you that. It's got to be a surprise for everybody.
Oh, we get you. You're not going to leak it. Okay, we're going to wait for that. I know. I've heard through the Job Creators Network grapevine you've got one cooking in the works. So I thought maybe I could find out what it is. I'll have to wait like everybody else, Elaine. Thanks for being with us today. Always enjoy having you on. Great day to come on when we get this great jobs report. And we didn't plan it this way either. It just happened, right? So fantastic,
exactly.
Elaine. Thanks. I know, right? Thanks. So whatever questions, whatever we were going to talk about, that went out the window when you have a jobs report like this, the Trump economy adding another 263,000 jobs, as Elaine Parker said, crushing expectations by these so-called economic experts that penetrate Goldman Sachs and whatever Wall Street's doing up there. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, John.